Edna Krabappel, aka the Cigarette Mommy, aka Mrs. Flanders, aka Maestra Krabappel, aka Krabappel, is one lady with so many qualities in The Simpsons.
Mrs. Krabappel, you're trying to seduce me.
Judging from her master's degree, you can tell she has got the brains for just about anything. Plus, she is known for trying her best to bring out the best in people, most especially our favorite prankster, Bart. Today, we're gonna dive into the complete life of Edna, her grumpy side, optimistic side, and her loving side in The Chronicle of Edna Krabappel. Now, grab your donuts and settle in. Her early years. Throughout the course of the show, we never get to see Edna as a baby, but we know she grew up in Springfield, probably went to the same elementary school she would later teach at as an adult, and definitely attended Springfield High School. Yeah, a very rare sighting in Growing Up Springfield, a Declan Desmond's documentary proved that Edna, for a fact, attended Springfield High. She was seen running around the school hall when Clancy Wiggum was a hall monitor. After graduating from Springfield High, she went to Springfield University before she went ahead to study for her master's degree in Bryn Mawr College. Her academic achievements led her away from Springfield to better opportunities, and while she was away from dear old Springfield living her dream life, she met her off-screen runaway husband, Ken. Ken Krabappel was a cheater and a drunkard. Due to this bad behavior he exhibited, his marriage with Edna crumbled, and it made the couple seek the help of the marriage counselor to help rekindle the love in their relationship. But it turns out that the marriage counselor and Ken had other plans to elope together. Ken ran away with the marriage counselor while naked on a beach, leaving his marriage in unresolved conflict with Edna.
Since he's been gone, I've been looking for a substitute to teach me a lesson I sorely need.
Edna's broken marriage seems to be the reason why she would later evolve into an aggressive lover, a heavy smoker, a gambler, an expert seductress, and a heartbreaker of many men. Returning to her hometown. After being away from her hometown for some time, Edna returned to Springfield. And on the day she arrived, she met Mo Sislak and fell in love with him instantly. Obviously, Mo could not resist Edna either. After Edna's heartbreak, she became more aware of what she wanted in a man. So when she was with Mo, she knew that he was definitely not her type because he was an alcoholic who owned a bar. All of that just reminded her of her ex-husband, and she didn't want a recurring incident again in her life. Mo was hell-bent on appeasing Edna, so he pursued his drinking buddies out of the bar, stating that he was a therapist for alcoholics just to persuade Edna to give him another chance. Moreover, they became all lovey-dovey with each other during summer, and Mo wanted to move out of Springfield to begin a new life with Edna, but he was short on cash. Still thinking on what measures to take, in order to leave Springfield, Mo stole a large amount of gold coins from Snake, who intended to donate it to a museum. Such a crazy thing to do, stealing for love. Edna then made plans to leave with Mo, but as they were on their way out, she stopped by at Springfield Elementary, only to find Bart in detention, who explained to her that he is a bad student with horrible grades. Edna, ever the altruistic, promises Bart that she will be with him till he is done with 4th grade and assures him that he will get good grades with her as his teacher. If only she knew what she was getting into. We even later discovered that Bart was lying about everything to take away Edna's attention from Nelson, who was stealing classroom equipment. Safe to say, Edna was tricked into becoming a teacher. When Edna told Mo that she couldn't go with him anymore, he went ballistic. With rage and frustration, he threw belongings out of the car and left her stranded on the road. This innocent and pure act of Edna was just the beginning of her path to being a heartbreaker. It is also safe to say that Bart saved Edna from a relationship that was definitely not going to end well. Life as a single lady. Shortly after deciding that she was going to teach in Springfield, Edna began her teaching profession as a 4th grade teacher. It was a fun ride, but all the activities that went on around her made her crave for male attention in her life. Although she was so open, clearly telling every man what she wanted in a relationship, none of her talking stages ever worked out. It became so bad that she made a personal advertisement of her single life in a newspaper. But it got worse when Bart ransacked her desk and found the personal advertisement of searching for a lover because he did not hesitate to toy with Edna's feelings via a prank. Edna received a romantic letter from a Woodrow who told her everything she wanted to hear from a man in an old-fashioned romance tone. After reading the letter, she asked to meet Woodrow as her love for him began to wax strong. Excited about her new love affair, she was asked to come over to Gilded Truffle Restaurant for dinner, and she spent hours just to pick a special dress for the date. Unfortunately for her, the letters from Woodrow were false and imitated from Homer and Marge's love letters to each other by Bart. While Edna waited for her date, Bart, who had this planned up, went to the movie theater next door, and while on his way, he saw Edna still waiting for her date, and he began to laugh at her for falling for his prank. When the movie ended, Bart became regretful after he saw Edna weeping profusely. Out of guilt and with the help of his family, Bart then sent Woodrow's romantic goodbye letter to Edna. She was then consoled after reading the letter and decided to move on with her life, but she did not give up on love. Breaking Bad. Edna had a very complicated student-teacher relationship with Bart. You could see them fighting one day and consoling each other the next day. One time, Edna warned Bart about the upcoming exam on colonial America, prompting him to study hard for it, but the mischievous Bart claimed to be sick the next day, all to avoid the test. Bart failed more woefully than when Edna gave him a different set of test questions, despite grilling Milhouse for the test answers. The next day, Bart failed the makeup test again, breaking down in tears and comparing his failure to George Washington's surrender of Fort Necessity to the French in 1754. Edna felt sorry for him and gave him a D- for demonstrating his applied knowledge. Bart then ran around Springfield announcing his success. This just shows how genuine Edna's attitude towards terrible students was. She always thought they deserved a second chance to make it, but as time went on, she lacked interest in her teaching profession as she gradually found out that the school system wasn't what she expected it to be. So, Edna broke bad. One time she even got fired from teaching because she got drunk after Bart spiked alcohol in her coffee drink. Another time she fought a 5th grade teacher who said negative things about her students. And she even got suspended for slapping Bart and sent to the teacher holding facility. Relationship with Skinner. Edna's relationship with Skinner was a secret until Bart became an eyewitness to both of them kissing in the Martins' Pink Playhouse. So, out of fear of getting fired, they made Bart swear an oath of secrecy in turn for putting Milhouse's name on his permanent record. Bart automatically became the third wheel in their relationship, passing their love notes to each other on which he gets embarrassed.
I love Edna Krabappel.
So as payback, Bart took the entire class to the janitor's closet where Edna and Skinner were making out, causing them to get fired by Chalmers after word spreads quickly in Springfield about their relationship. After events unfolded and Skinner told everyone that he is a 44-year-old virgin, Edna and Skinner got reinstated but decided to keep things quiet between them during school hours. Breakup with Skinner. The honeymoon phase between Skinner and Edna was a sweet one, and with their long-term relationship, the pair never saw their breakup coming. Skinner's mother, Agnes, always got in between their relationship and started fights between the pair. This was seen when Skinner surprised Edna with a kiss under the fireworks display, but Agnes interrupted their little romance session. She also canceled their apple-picking date, which made Edna frustrated. But this did not hinder Skinner from proposing to Edna. You see, when Skinner, with the help of Bart, proposed to Edna. On Edna's wedding eve, she found out that Skinner had doubts about their marriage, so she called it off, running away from the marriage ceremony because she wasn't ready for a marriage that her husband would not commit to. After that, Edna surprisingly got entangled with comic book guys sexually, and they fell in love with each other. The comic book guy then proposed to Edna, and they prepared a Star Trek-themed mock Klingon wedding ceremony. At the ceremony, Skinner barged in, dressed up as Catwoman, and engaged in combat with the comic book guy. In the end, Edna refused to marry either of them. In a way, this just revealed how deeply rooted the trauma was that Ken gave her. She didn't let desperation or emotions get in the way of what she actually wanted in a marriage. It really made her choose wisely, and who better to choose than Ned Flanders? When Homer fell on Ned Flanders and was rushed into an ambulance, Edna wished to join but was stopped because only family members were allowed. That is when it was revealed by Ned that Edna is his wife and they were secretly married to each other. Married to Ned, Edna was the stepmommy of Ned's 2 children, and their marriage lasted up until her death. Retirement of Edna's character. Due to the death of Marcia Wallace, the voice actor of Edna, in 2013, the producers of the Simpsons animated series decided to retire the character Edna Krabappel rather than replace her. This was such a huge honor following her death, and Edna's last appearance was made in this episode where Ned recounts how he loved her so much. Edna's death. The death of Marcia Wallace and Edna affected her dear husband Ned and all the students in which she had impacted their lives, particularly Bart and Nelson Muntz. To this day, Ned continues to mourn his wife's death. He recently came across a diary she had written about their relationship, and it turns out Edna was really in love with her husband. What a sweet love story we have here. That's it for the life of Edna Krabappel, from her early life to her death. She was such a wonderful character that will never be forgotten in television history. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with more intriguing content. Until next time, folks.